It is wonderful to share my thoughts about this part of Scripture. Have you ever taken a train journey or a motorcar journey that took you through a long, dark tunnel? One of my sons was so scared the first time we had to pass through a tunnel, he kept telling us, "Don't go in there. The black hole will swallow us up and will never again we will be able to see the light of day." I have seen programs and newspaper clippings about the large demonstrations when it was decided to go ahead with the tunnel construction. People were fearful about what's going to happen once the tunnel has been completed. Even construction workers were threatened to stop working because people thought this tunnel under the channel will leave the UK vulnerable to attack from mainland Europe. All this uncertainty about one tunnel. But maybe it comes down to the fact that we fear the dark. Maybe the unknown is symbolized by a tunnel. The darkness that lies ahead and the fact that you are not able to see what is going on in the tunnel, especially when it's your first time traveling through that particular tunnel. Daniel and his friends are experiencing a particular dark time in their history, as we are currently experiencing our own darkness with the COVID-19 virus and uncertainty. Nobody can say they know exactly how this is going to play out. Life has changed a lot since February, since March, when the first death was reported in the UK. And some say our future will never be the same after this virus. Life has indeed changed a lot. And some say this is unknown territory we are experiencing, some sort of dark tunnel that we need to negotiate and go through. I remember a time when we were visiting the first time in the UK, and we had to go to a hotel near Heathrow Airport. We eventually ended up in the airport itself, and we had to travel through a long tunnel, which we found out later that is a tunnel actually running underneath the path of the aeroplanes. I remember driving and going through this tunnel, and it seemed it would never end. We kept on driving and driving, and I asked Henneline at one time, "When will this blasted tunnel end?" Her instruction came quick and clear. "Keep driving. It will end sometime." And it did. We ended up by being stopped by the police with machine guns, because this was just after the 9/11 attacks in America. But after a short discussion, we were put right back onto where we were supposed to go and ended up at the hotel. Daniel and his friends kept worshipping God, although they have been threatened not to do it. The consequences are going to be death. They are in a long dark tunnel and do not know where it's going to end, where it's even leading. They are feeling their way forward by trusting God. God has been faithful to them, and he promised protection against their enemies. They stumbled around in the darkness, which was Nebuchadnezzar. Their faith compelled them to worship God, not an earthly king. In this tunnel they even have fallen down to the ground because they have been arrested, accused of worshipping God against the command of the king. They were captured and thrown into a furnace, vivid detail being described to us, how hot the furnace has been made. But God kept his word. He protected them, even sent an angel to reassure them all the way through this dark tunnel. We are celebrating Palm Sunday. Although it might seem strange to read from Daniel on this day, it makes perfect sense. God did not send an angel to protect us. He did much more. He sent his Son. With Jesus, we know we are saved. We have been rescued forever. No need to send angels or perform miracles like with Daniel's friends. We have the forever miracle. The forever miracle is the death and resurrection of Jesus. To that miracle we can cling in times when we need to pass through our own tunnels. He is the Prince of Peace. When we stumble around in darkness with this virus and other fears, we know that Jesus is there. He has overcome darkness forever. We know where the tunnel leads. It leads to him and his Father. Although it may be dark, damp, stuffy, strewn full of rocks, and we are stumbling our way forward, we know he who was worthy led us into the light. The smile on my son's face, and I must confess on my own, as we left the tunnels, was something to behold. Pure delight and pleasure. I caught myself smiling, as was my son. The journey did not end there and then when we left the tunnel, because life has provided us with much more tunnels, and we have negotiated them since, physically and mentally, as a family and as individuals. But we knew, since we've passed the first tunnel, it will lead to the exit, and we will once again bask in the sunlight once more. It is the same with this virus and other challenges associated with it, like job losses. Terrible job losses seems to be inevitable. But by sticking together like friends, like the friends of Daniel, and Jesus sticking with us, we will exit this tunnel called COVID-19. The journey seems to be that nicer with friends. And as the old hymn goes, what a friend we have in Jesus. Take the advice offered by Scripture this morning. I don't know in what tunnel you are currently in, but know this, it will end. So heed and take the advice given by Daniel's friends, Jesus, and the advice given by Henelin to me on that day, and even other faithful. Keep driving. The tunnel will end, and we will be in the sunlight once more. He who is the sunlight, the light of the world, Jesus. Be at peace in his name.